Hello, this is Steve Carlton from DesignX Technologies, and I am here to give you a small tutorial on creating parcels from objects. There's two different ways that I'm going to show you how to do this. So if you want to follow along with me, there is a file that would be located at www.designx.com. Go to the resources drop down and select tutorials, and you will see that there is a DWG file right there located under this particular tutorial for creating parcels from objects in the Civil 3D section. And it has a DWG file there called Parcels from Objects that you can select and download. Um, and so what that file contains is uh, two separate items that we're going to do. One where we're going to go through and create a parcel from an object that currently sits on the screen already. The other type of object that we're going to create a parcel from is from an xref. So those are the two main methods that we're going to use for going through and doing this. Okay, the first thing that you're going to do is have your file open, obviously. And once you do that, what we're going to do is we are going to go over to make sure that we are under the Home tab. And from the drop down, we're going to choose Create Parcel from Object. When we choose that option, what's going to happen is you will see that it's going to ask you to select the lines, arcs, or polylines that you want to convert into your parcel. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose the polyline that currently is sitting in this drawing right now as our object, and you can see that it tells us that we found one object. So once you do that, you're going to press enter, and that's going to bring up this dialog box that's going to allow you to enter in some parameter information regarding this parcel. One of the first things that you'll see is that it is going to require us to put this parcel into a site. Now, one of the things to keep in mind about sites is sites are just a way for you to go through and keep things organized. It allows you to kind of separate out certain parcels and alignment lines and feature lines and some other things that you want to have categorized or grouped into their own specific site, which may help you out later on down the road from an organizational standpoint. The other thing that you'll see right here is you'll notice that in this initial drawing that there are no sites that are created over here. You'll see right here on the Prospector tab that I have highlighted that there is no plus sign over here to indicate that there are no sites that currently exist. So right now it's just basically going to allow us to create a new site that's called Site 1. And you can see that from this drop-down list right here where it says that it's going to just create a new site from there. The other thing that we are going to want to choose is the actual parcel style. Now, in this particular drawing, there are some previously created styles that you could go through and see over here under the Settings tab that pertain to some of the objects that we're going to be working with. There are some previously created parcel styles, and again, these are just ways for you to go through and organize your objects into so that they have a specific appearance and allow you to go through and put those parcels into their own style that you have. And then additionally, we have some labels that were styles that were previously created too, to go through and display the information however we want it displayed. So again, those were already previously created. So what you could do is you could go over and make sure that this initial parcel that we're creating is just going to be categorized under the parcel style. The other options that we're going to choose down here for the area label styles is we're going to choose name, area, and perimeter. And also we're going to go in and select this checkbox right here to automatically add segment labels, and that will allow us to go in and choose a line segment label style. So from this drop-down list, we're going to choose the span, barren, and distance with crow's feet label style. Another thing that we are going to make sure that we have selected is this erase existing entities. What that means is that this original object that you see right here that's currently sitting on the screen will get deleted and erased and replaced by the parcel that we are going to create. So we're going to go ahead and keep that selected. Once we have those set, you can go ahead and click OK, and that's it. Pretty straightforward. You'll see that these are the label styles that were put in, and you'll see that right here is an indication that this parcel has been created. Because of that style that we chose, you can see that it's telling us what the area and the perimeter is of that particular parcel. And if we wanted to go in and change the name of this, we can simply click on the parcel label that we have right here in the middle. That'll bring up this tab right here that allows you to change the properties for this selected parcel. And if you come over here and click on parcel properties, you'll see that you will be able to come over here to the information tab and uncheck this box right here that says use name, template, and parcel style, and go in and give it your own name that you want to give it. For what we're doing here, I'm just going to keep this name the same, but that's how you could go through and change the name of this particular parcel that was created. So that's the first way of going through and creating a parcel from an object. Now, another way that we can do this is if we go in and create a parcel from an xref. So just to keep in mind something, let me just point something out real quick. If you go over to the settings tab, and if you open up the settings for the drawn, you'll see that this is where you can identify the zones that are there, that you can go through and identify the zone and the coordinate systems, the categories, all that stuff for this particular drawing. So keep in mind that if you have done this, okay, if you have gone through and identified this, and if you are going to go in and xref something in, I just want to point out to you that if over here under the Insert tab, if you come over to the Attach button right here for your references, when you go to select a particular drawing that you want to attach to this drawing right here, this option that you see right down here, Locate Using Geographic Data, that is because this drawing that you are attaching has that coordinate information entered in, and it's been identified. So if it has that information put into it previously, then you'll see that this will light up, and it'll allow you to check that to choose whether you want to use that coordinate information. And the reason why I bring that up is because for the exercises that we're doing here, there is already a file that has been xref'd into this drawing. Right now it's in its own layer and it's been turned off, but you'll see that if you come over here to the drop down under the layers and you thaw out this particular layer that we're going to use right here, this it was already previously created in another drawing, and again the reason why it's matching up the information for where it's sitting at right now is because this particular drawing has its coordinate information that was entered in, and that's how it's placing it there. So just keep that in mind, that if you do have xrefs or drawings that you are going to xref in and you want them to follow the same coordinate system, make sure that you first of all identify that and that you enter that information in. But secondly, again, when you go in to attach that particular drawing, again, make sure that you have this checked down here at the bottom to make sure that it is following that information that you've identified. So we have this in, and so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go in and again create another parcel, but this time we're going to use the xref. So what we're going to do is from the drop down, we're going to choose Create Parcel from Objects again. And this time we're going to come down here and select the xref option. And then we're going to select all of the objects that we have in there from that xref drawn. And once we do that and we press enter, again, we're going to get this dialog box that's going to come up. That's going to allow us to put these particular parcels again in a site that you may have. And so now we already have this site that's been created, so we're just going to keep it there. But again, if you want to go in and identify the styles that you wanted to use, including the label styles, then you could go through and select all that. We're just going to keep everything defaulted to what it is right now, so we'll go ahead and select OK. And now you'll see that each one of those individual areas have been converted over to its own parcel. So real quick, let me just show you a couple things that you can do additionally with this. That in itself is how you go through and create the parcels, and that's pretty much it for this tutorial. But I want to point out a couple things real quick to you. Number one, again, you saw that it created its own site here because we didn't have one previously created. So if you did want to create your own site, you simply just have to come over here to the Prospector tab, make sure that you right click on Sites, select New, and if I just type in for the name that I'm going to put in, I'm going to put in C3D Training and select OK. That's how you can go through and create a site. So if you want, you saw that we were going through and when we were creating the parcels that it was just putting it into this site one because there wasn't one created. But if you go in previously and create your own site, that's how you would go through and do that. If you did put it into a site already, like what we have right here, real simple, after we go through and we create the additional site that we want, you simply right click on the parcels object right here under the site one, click on move to site. You'll see that it will have a destination site of that C3D training that we selected. And if you click OK, that will go through and move all of those parcels from site one over now to the C3D training. So that's how you can go through and move from one site to the next. Pretty straightforward and simple with that. Another thing I want to point out to you is that if you, again, I kind of alluded to this earlier with changing the properties, but if you go in to each of these and identify the parcel properties with them, you could simply come over and select one of them and again go to the parcel properties. Make sure you clear this use name template and parcel style. That's the name that's being generated automatically, but if you clear that out, you could type in your own name that you want to go through and use for that particular parcel. You can also come over and identify again what object style it's going to be. So we're going to use this as a road, and then we are going to select OK, and you'll see that that will go through and rename that particular parcel to whatever you want it to be, and then also place it into its own parcel style category. The other thing to point out to you, finally, the last thing actually to show you is if you go over to your parcels, when you do have a situation, you got some of these parcels, like for example, this over here, this property, if you look at this one, you'll see that this one by default has been put into the property style. So we've got a couple different styles that are going on here. And if you want to make sure that the style that is being used here, if you've got multiple styles, if you want a particular style to have precedence over another style when it's displaying all this stuff. So again, this is if you've got, you know, parcels that have two different styles that share a common segment that we have right here. That segment that you put in the higher order is going to be the one that's going to take precedence when it's displaying its style information. And so again, the way that you can do this is just simply come over here to the parcels category that you have right here, right click on it, go to properties, and you can see right here the parcel style display order that you want to go in and use. So again, everything that is in the property style is going to take precedence over anything that is in the road style or any other styles that you might use for that. So just wanted to point that out to you also. Okay, that will wrap up this video on creating parcels from objects. We are going to create a separate video that you can go check out at our website on how to create parcels using the creation tools. There's a little bit more that's involved with that, but I'll take you through a tutorial on how to use some of the creation tools to go through and create parcel segments with those. If you have any questions, you can contact us, or if you would like any information about our training services, you can go to www.designxt.com and look out the Civil 3D Fundamentals page where you can get some information regarding the 4-day Civil 3D Fundamentals course that we offer both online and on site with a live instructor.